So, you want to learn about absolutism. Well, first we'll gotta start off with feudalism. Now, let's have a change of outfit, because I think it's safe to say this is from the modern age. So, let's go do that. So basically, what I'm going to do here is teach you about feudalism and absolutism with the help of Blade and Sorcery, my good friend. But first, let's get a change of armor, shall we? Huh. Now, I need to find a knight's armor, which we just so happen to have at our disposal. Let's put the helmet on. Get rid of that. I don't know why it does that. That is strange, but this is already dragging on a little long. And I think I might have a problem. No, I do not. Well, this is what a knight would wear. So, let's grab ourselves our sword. Aha. In feudalism, at least, they had kings and queens across the land with nobles under them. And then you also had the guardians of those kings and queens, the knights. Now these were trained warriors. They got it, but they got paid. You also had people like the church, or, well, I don't know, priests, whatever you call them. Now they read the Bible to the citizens of these worlds, and basically taught that the monarchs are divine rulers. Now, the commoners were treated quite poorly in feudalism. That shouldn't have been on there. The commoners were treated quite poorly during this time. Well, mainly because you had diseases like the Black Death going on, but that's past the point. Now, due to these now, I know this is going to seem abrupt, but back to the priests. These teachings that the priests taught that the monarchs were divine rulers. Some of the monarchs let this get to their heads, and they become absolute rulers. So let's fast forward to Paris in the 1700s, where you had kings like King Louis XVI, who was undoubtedly the last king of last king of France. Yeah, that's a thing. So yeah, now you may say, we're here to learn about absolutism, Foxy. Why are you teaching us about feudalism? Because to know about absolutism, you must first understand feudalism, because it built on it. Anyway, absolutism was where they had one monarch, no one under him. Actually, everyone under him, no one above him. You didn't have your nobles, no. One monarch. He ruled everything. He was the divine ruler sent from the heavens. And no one dared to question him. Like, heck, let me just get this out here because I need to make a demonstration. But yeah, they were the divine rulers. Like, you could literally the king could literally do this to someone. He's dead now. No one will question him, because he's a divine ruler of the land. Let's just put it over here. Get you out of here. I just had to do that because if YouTube censors are crazy. It's just plus it's a school project, so anyway. But yeah, you could literally kill a man, and no one would question you because you're the divine ruler of the land. Let that sink in. It's crazy. And now, due to this unfair balance in power, the French Revolution started. This is where the people of France went and revolted against their rulers, pretty much. You had the First and Second Estates, which were the clergy and the nobles, I think. Whatever. Basically the clergy were, again, church. Religion heavily influenced this land. Heavily. It's safe to say that most people, if not everyone, under the rule of an absolute monarch, was Christian. Now, we had King Louis XVI called upon the Estates General, which is where representatives from each estate, the clergy, the nobles, and the commoners, met. Now, since the commoners were always outnumbered, they got 2 votes this time, but it could still result in a tie. So the Third Estate said no to those requirements. They said no. And they met privately. Well, yeah. They met privately and used a tennis court. Took the tennis court oath, which I actually have to find here. I have it on my laptop somewheres. Hold up. I know. It's hard to read a script. I am very off script right now. Oh yes. They took the tennis court oath. The oath in an English translation is... Let me get it here. Aha. Considering that it has been called to establish the constitution of the realm, to bring about the regeneration of public order, and to maintain the true principles of monarchy. Nothing may prevent it from continuing its deliberations in any place it is forced to establish itself. And, finally, the National Assembly exists wherever its members are gathered, decrees that all members of this assembly immediately take a solemn oath never to separate and to reassemble wherever circumstances require until the constitution of the realm is established and fixed upon solid foundations. And that said oath having been sworn, all members and each one individually confirms this unwavering resolution with his signature. We swear to never separate ourselves from the National Assembly and to reassemble wherever circumstances require until the constitution of the realm is drawn up and fixed upon solid foundations. Pretty interesting, right? Now, I think I already read this. Okay, yeah. Now, due to the very unequal treatment of the commoners, the representatives of the Third Estate showed this oath. Well, not the oath. They showed something to the National Assembly. Something called the Declaration of the Rights of Man. Now, they showed this, and eventually the National Assembly declared it true. I might have that wrong, but again, this is for a history project. I hope I don't have it wrong. So, yeah. I'm trying to think here. What else do I have to talk about? Oh yeah, this Declaration of the Rights of Man and the Citizen, that was the official name for it, gave us things like freedom of speech and equality. You know, it's the reason why, it's actually, for my American viewers, it's the reason why in America, you can shoot a gun. It heavily influenced the Constitution. Now that out of the way, because we're not American here. We're fucking Canadian. You got that, bud? Just kidding. Anyway, it influenced a lot of constitutions around the world. Like the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. It is all based on the Declaration of the Rights of Man and the Rule of Law. Rule of law having been established many years before this in Rome. But I digress. Now that happened, there are a few radicals. They are a part of something called the Jacobin Club. Now this Jacobin Club was led by a stupid yet not so stupid man named Maximilien Robespierre. We'll get into why he was stupid later. But he led this Jacobin Club. They were radicals. They loved the French Revolution. After they declared the rights of man, well, stuff happened. I'm not entirely sure what. Probably should have researched better. Not getting full marks on this one. Anyway, eventually, in I'm gonna have to check the date. I don't want to get this one wrong. Yes, in 1793, the Reign of Terror started when wild accusations were brought forth, declaring multiple people, including the king and queen, were against the French Revolution. That's right, the king was still alive up to this point, till these accusations came out. The Committee of Public Safety was created, and they accused multiple people of being against the French Revolution. Yes, against it. Now, due to this, Maximilien Robespierre and his associates did not want anyone against the French Revolution. So they brought something forth called the guillotine to behead people. To get them out of this world. Now, basically, this isn't a guillotine, this is a sword. They don't have a guillotine in this game, sadly. I want to get one. But, yes. Basically, what they would do is they would take you would be laid down, like that, and your head would be... Here, let's retry that.
To Cervantes.
Okay.
You
That's
are
not supposed to happen.
You lack.
He's not supposed to.
So, you choose the same path as me.
But yeah, basically they would lay you down like this, and then they would just cut your head off. Your head would be put in a basket later as a prize for the revolution. Now let's get this out of here before the YouTube censors come. But yes, that is what happened. And eventually, after about a year of the Reign of Terror, claimed about 45,000 people. 45,000 people. That man times 45,000. That's how many people died in this revolution. It was insane. Well, not in the revolution, but in the Reign of Terror. Maximilien Robespierre was a crazy man. But let's get into why he was stupid. So, after the Reign of Terror was found to be surprisingly very bad because it was killing people for no reason. Yeah, remember, anyone could report someone for being against the French Revolution. So you could literally be with it, and if someone doesn't like you, they would just report you for being against it. Boom, you're dead. Yeah, there was no courts. No courts at all. You would just be sent straight to the guillotine, with your head being chopped off. It was insane. A lot of other things happened too. There was this journalist. He was murdered. He was very pro-revolution, pro-Jacobin Club. I think actually he was a part of it. But anyway, yeah. But then some lady came in, stabbed him while he was bathing, and that was the end of him. There was a guy who was against Robespierre who was also assassinated. Well, not assassinated, guillotined, publicly executed. But yeah, I digress again. So yeah, after about a year of the Reign of Terror, it was found to be bad, surprisingly. Again, I said this already for... Peace. But yes, it was found to be bad. And Maximilian Robespierre and his associates, the Jacobin Club, were arrested and deemed of being against France. That happened. They were deemed being against France for the Reign of Terror, surprisingly. Or, not surprisingly, I don't know. But yes, they were deemed to be against France. Where Maximilian Robespierre later tried to shoot himself. YouTube, this is an L. Oh, wait. No, this is not my infinite ammo one. That was a plan I was gonna have. So he tried to shoot himself in the head. Tried to shoot himself right in the noggin. But he ended up shooting his jaw off. He didn't freaking die. He was just in a lot of pain. They wrapped his jaw. They laughed at him. For, I think it was 2 days or something. His friends were laughing at him. Which, it's actually kind of funny, because he is stupid. But yeah. So then, a few days later, he was sent to the guillotine, his head was chopped off, officially ending the Reign of Terror. Now, a few years after the revolution, a French system of governance was installed called the Directory. Now, they had power for a lot of years, until... No, not a lot of years. For a few years. Until Napoleon Bonaparte threw them over. Yeah. He threw them over. Basically, he was a guy from Corsica. He was alive before the French Revolution. He was in the military. What happened was Corsica was taken over by France. Then he was sent to mainland France to become military. He didn't like France particularly because they took over his home when he was a young kid. And then a few years later, Napoleon moved back to France, tried becoming something with the leader of Corsica, and then found the leader of Corsica was an absolute a-ho. And then Napoleon moved back to France, declaring himself French. Then he became a French artillery lieutenant, something like that, and he was sent to a port where Britain was invading. Oh. Yeah, Britain was trying to invade France or something. They were having a fight, and all the officers there were incompetent. They didn't know how to handle this, so Napoleon said, "Put them up on a ridge. Literally, we'll have the high ground. I have the high ground, Anakin. Don't try it." Sorry, I make the reference. I'm so sorry, Mr. Turner. But yeah, they had the high ground. Then they took down the British warships, and that was that. Then he was promoted. A few years later, again, he became a brigadier general. Then he became a general. He had a few campaigns, which we're going to talk about 2 of them, being Waterloo and Russia. The more infamous out of the 2 was definitely Waterloo, because, well, that's where he lost. This was after he was exiled for the first time. Yeah, he was exiled after the Russian campaign. So yeah, I think we're going to talk about the Russian campaign first, so it's kind of like chronologically correct. So yeah, he basically went to Russia. Meanwhile, it was freaking fall, so it was about to be winter. Where was Napoleon's brains? So yeah, they went to Russia with their troops and all their freaking royal steeds or whatever. They had guns, not like that one. That's an 1897 Winchester shotgun. That was invented almost 100 years after Napoleon. That was used in World War I, which we'll get into later. But yeah, he went to Russia. He had a few sick-ass battles, and then eventually Russia just started burning their villages and fleeing the people, so that Napoleon wouldn't have any supplies to further push into Russia. Makes sense. Russia, smart. Russia, big brain. I don't know. But yeah. Then Napoleon, I think it was either he retreated by himself or he retreated with his men. I think it was he retreated by himself with a few men. So yeah, he retreated, and a lot of his men froze to death because it was winter in Russia. Put 2 and 2 together equals death. Not like that, but whatever. But yeah, he had the Russian campaign, then he was exiled for fleeing his people twice. He had an African campaign where he also fled his people. So yeah, he was exiled, and then he came back into France. Or maybe that was after the revolution. I don't know. It was sometime after his Russian campaign, and then he came back and he did his 100 days of re-Napoleonization or whatever it was called. And he did the Battle of Waterloo. Little did he know that would be his last battle. So yeah, Britain was there. He was trying to fend off Britain from pushing into mainland. Or no, he was taking... Waterloo was under Britain control at the time. So he was trying to push Britain out back to Britain. Push British people back to Britain? I don't know. But yeah, he had a huge military battle. He was trying to defeat Britain before the Prussians came. That didn't work. Basically what happened is he spent so long trying to fight Britain that eventually he started getting backsided by the Prussians, and he fled back to Paris, leaving his men stranded. A lot of them were killed. Whether it be a bayonet to the chest or a bullet to the head, they were killed. So yeah, he fled back to France, and then he was forced to abdicate his rulership by Britain and Russia and all them. But yeah, then he was forced, he wasn't forced to sign a treaty. Maybe he was. What happened was, I did not mean to do. Okay. Clothes in this game are very weird. But yeah, he was forced to abdicate his throne, and he, and yeah, he was exiled, where he would eventually die on an island. So yeah, he died of arsenic poisoning. I think it was. I don't know. No, it wasn't arsenic. Or was it? I don't know. It was death of poisoning by some sort, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, and then there was a huge Treaty of Paris, 17 something, I don't know. Treaty of Paris, and then this guaranteed equal power throughout all of Europe, which led to some disputes. So let's fast forward about 100 years in the future. Yeah. Late 1800s. So yeah. So now, there's a lot of problems going on. For one, Russia is getting colder. Their lakes are starting, their southern lakes, southern seas, they're starting to freeze over. Black Sea is freezing over every winter. So they want access to warm water from the Mediterranean. They can't have it. And then also, Britain's fleet is becoming smaller because other fleets are becoming bigger. And Britain wants, like, the largest fleet ever. The largest naval fleet. France wants 2 major cities back. That was lost when Napoleon lost the Battle of Waterloo, the Treaty of Paris and all that. That gave that land to Prussia, which Prussia later became Germany. So yeah, Germany rose from Prussia, and Germany is quickly expanding due to the Industrial Revolution. This is where multiple machines were created, and yada yada yada. So now, Germany, they're rising huge. They're inventing all kinds of new things, such as the Kar 98K, the Sciargin Inertia. Those are just some guns that I like. I really want to get my hands on some, but I'm in Canada, so I can't. They're also really ancient, so yeah, that's a thing too. Anyway, away from the guns. No, we don't. We like those here on this channel, but we don't like talking about them in school videos. Yes. Yes. I can't do a thumbs up in this game. Anyway, Germany's inventing all these kinds of cool things, but they don't have the resources to expand more. Which means they have to build a railway all the way to Baghdad so they can get oil and new materials, which they wanted. And now also Austria's having some problems because they are dying, even though they're a new country. They're dying. They're heavily depending on Germany. Heavily. Now, Serbia is also rising. They're rising fast, too. But they want some land. They want the Slavic countries from Austria, because Austria is kind of torturing the Slavic people. So that's the thing. Anyway. So yeah, that's all happening. And I think that's all I had to talk about, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. So now, basically what happened was, I'm getting into actual World War I now. Pre-World War I was interesting, lots of problems, and all that. And now what basically happened to start World War I was, well, Serbia assassinated Archduke Franz Ferdinand, which made Austria very mad. And Germany basically said to Austria, hey, we'll support you no matter what you do, because we're allies, and we depend on you. Yeah, Germany depended on Austria as well. They depended on each other. They couldn't live without each other. So then, basically, Germany gave Austria a blank check. Yeah. So then Austria declared war on Serbia, which means Germany declared war on Serbia, which means Russia declared war on Germany and Austria-Hungary, which meant that France and Britain also had to declare war on those two countries, because France, Britain, and Russia were a part of an alliance called the Triple Entente, which was basically, I don't know, I didn't read up about it all that much. I'm sorry, Mr. Garner. I'm sorry, I'm working on a tight time frame here. But yeah, they're part of the Triple Entente, which is an alliance, which, yeah. And then I'm pretty sure Italy declared war on Austria when Austria started trying to take Italy's land. That happened. Yeah. And this was my history project. I meant to do some different gameplay while talking about World War I, but I guess I stuck into Blade and Sorcery. Maybe I'll put some gameplay at the end of the video. If I did, you'll see it. If I didn't, I'm sorry. But it does have guns in it, so it probably wouldn't be allowed for my school project. Anyway, this was my history video. Mr. Garner, if it wasn't good enough, I'll do the exam. But yeah, this was my history video. This is Foxy, over and out. See you in the next one. Bye!